Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving the 2024 Ford Maverick Hybrid XLT, or XLT Hybrid. Up front is a 2.5 liter inline 4, as well as a hybrid system, and down below is a CVT. Now I'm super excited to be driving this Ford Maverick because I've now driven every current model year of the Maverick. I've always liked this little truck, but I think it's time to kind of do a retrospective. This truck has been out for 3 model years and is getting a facelift for the 2025 model year. And so this was one of the most sought after vehicles of the recent era, to the point where this vehicle, the owner waited so long for an allocation. By the time he got it, he didn't even want it anymore, and so he actually traded it for a Subaru Forester. So let's dive into the meat and potatoes of the Ford Maverick Hybrid. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And huge thank you to Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for letting me borrow the Maverick in today's video. More on them towards the end, but if you'd like to browse their inventory, you can do so in the description below. But let's get back to that 2.5 liter hybrid. Well, it's one of 2 engines offered in the Maverick. You can get a non-hybrid 2.0 liter turbo that was found in like the Focus ST and other sporty vehicles like that. If you do want straight line speed, if you want a little bit more power, a little bit more oomph around town, definitely go with the 2 liter turbo. But this hybrid has its own fantastic qualities, mainly being the fuel economy. The EPA estimates a combined 37 miles to the gallon in a pickup truck that is absolutely fantastic and one of the big selling points for the Maverick Hybrid. Now, we will talk about it a little bit later on, but this is around $30,000, $31,000 we'll call it, which I think is a fantastic number. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT. Now that is because it is the hybrid. If you get the 2 liter turbo, you actually get an 8-speed automatic. So if you do want a more traditional transmission, you can have one, but the CVT here is fine. It's doing the job. I'm not really bothered by it, and I think CVTs really feel at home in hybrid applications, just not purely gasoline applications. Last but not least, interestingly enough, this Ford Maverick is front-wheel drive. It's not all-wheel, it's not 4-wheel, it's not even rear-wheel like most 2-wheel drive pickups. This is a front-wheel drive pickup truck. Very, very interesting, but it helps keep that cost low. How does it feel to drive the hybrid Maverick? It's actually decent. Driving it around town, it is a little bit noisy, but it is an XLT. It's not a Lariat or anything important. But as a get-around car, this actually makes a lot of sense. It gets good gas mileage. It drives well enough. Visibility is good. The seating position is good. It's easy to get in and out of, and if you need a little parts hauler or a daily driver that you maybe will use a pickup truck bed a couple times a year, this is a wonderful option, and it feels that way from the driver's seat. 2.5 hybrid, here we go. Sorry, I should put it into sport for this. It's not impressive. It's good enough for around town. Like Napa uses these for like parts haulers and stuff. It's fine for that. You don't need to light up the tires when you're making small business deliveries. So it's fine. Fine. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges and a screen. Off to the left, this is where our tachometer would be, but this is actually our power gauge. So it'll tell you when it's charging, how much power you're using, things like that. In the middle, we get our coolant temperature and fuel, and off to the right, we have our speedometer. Up in the center, you do get that little information gauge. Nothing too crazy there. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our cruise control options along with our volume and mute, and off to the right, we have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, skip track, and phone options. Off to the left, we do have a climate vent, and this is where you'll start to notice the interesting color palette used on the interior of the Maverick. But down below that, we do have our headlight switches as well as our cargo light and gas cap release. On the door, we have lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows, again showcasing the odd colors on the interior of the Maverick. But down below, we do have a big bottle holder built into the door. So we'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and unfortunately, it still fails. Moving into the center, we do get a little cubby up at the top and our little infotainment screen. This is Ford's sync system, and it's fine. It does the job. I don't love it. I also don't hate it. I think it's easy to use. It's just not my favorite, and that's okay. We have physical buttons for the volume, tune, skip track, and our hazard switch. 2 more climate vents down below, and our climate controls. No dual zone climate here in the XLT Maverick. We just have fan speed off to the left, temperature off to the right, auto, where to send it in the middle. USB-A as well as USB-C down below that, 12-volt outlet, and some interesting cubby space that we'll touch on. This vehicle only has about 80 miles on it, and this material is already showing a little bit of age, which is not fantastic to see. Shifter off to the left, rotary dial shifter for the Maverick with the big parking brake down below that. And we get our drive modes. So we have normal, tow haul, slippery, eco, and sport, as well as our traction control button is actually this little slipping tire logo. Then we get our auto holding brake, and cup holders off to the right. We'll do a big finger bottle test, but it already failed in the door, and it fails here in the center. So it's a fail all around. Extra cubby down below and some cubby space here. Again, an orange pad, kind of an interesting design choice from Ford. And the center console with nothing in it. The seats are actually pretty comfortable. This is one of the big redeeming qualities of the interior of the XLT Maverick, that I sort of sink down into them and it's pretty cushy, pretty cozy. And I like that a lot. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a backseat review. All right, it has started raining since I started making this video, and the wind is shaking the whole car. We might be in a tornado, but we're in the back of a Maverick, and that's the important bit. Honestly, my knees, if I sit normally straight up, aren't hitting the seat in front of me. My head's not hitting the ceiling. Is this where I would want to spend a cross-country road trip? No. But it's not bad. I do have a center console here, 2 cup holders. If you have like a small family, if this is like a second vehicle or something, maybe you have 2 kids and your wife has a minivan, but you can live with this. You can make soccer practice pickups in this. I am watching a porta potty door cling for dear life. If your husband has a big SUV and you want a smaller vehicle and you want a Maverick, this will work. Like I said, you can make school pickups and drop-offs with this truck, with this backseat. You're going to be fine. If you want to take your friends out, you're going to be fine. It's just not a huge backseat, and especially compared to the F-150s, where I could physically lay down in the back seat in between the front and rear seats. It's not quite like that. We'll take a look at the bed and cargo space, but as you can see, it is pouring rain now, so yay for me. But honestly, nothing really to report back here. This is also outfitted with Ford's tough bed. It's just the bed liner. It's not anything crazy, but you could still fit stuff back here and use it as a truck, as trucks are intended to be used, which I think is fantastic. And pair that with getting 42 miles to the gallon on the highway, and for sub 35,000, yeah, this makes a lot of sense, and the bed is where that starts. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is finished in a pretty bland white color. However, I do think that the Maverick looks good. And this year for 2024, the Ford Ranger has been updated to kind of look like the Maverick. I'll show that in a second once we get done with our walk around. But I've always liked the styling of the Maverick. I think it looks relatively tough. It has sort of a square body-ish look to it, not totally curvy, but not totally square either. And like I said, here is the new Ranger. You can kind of tell in the headlights how it sort of was made to mimic the Maverick. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving yet another Ford Maverick here on the channel? Well, this is kind of interesting to me. So I've driven so far 2022, 2023, and 2024 Ford Mavericks. I like them. I like the size, and I love that price. $30,000 is a hard mark to hit for anything besides the Mitsubishi Mirage these days. So 30 grand, sorry, I guess technically 31 grand, very, very impressive. However, the market has somewhat cooled on the Mavericks. There were long waits for this truck. People were waiting years for theirs to get built. I think you have to set your goals and aspirations with this truck in a realistic manner. Is this going to solve all of your problems? No, and people thought that it would. It is a very good truck. It's a very good daily driver, and with its packaging, I think it's a really, really good deal. My thoughts are, this is still good. Like I said, manage your expectations. People might see front-wheel drive CVT truck and scoff or lose their lunch, but you don't really need to do that. As someone that used to own and build Mazda rotaries, I would love a vehicle like this to go get parts from the machine shop that wouldn't dirty up the interior, to go get mulch from my mom every spring, to move that motorcycle or ATV, to go get lumber from the Menards store. You'll save big money. I don't have to tow. I don't have to do these big, heavy, 1-ton pickup truck tasks, and so the Maverick would fit my lifestyle very, very well. There was actually a time for quite a while where I was set on buying a Ford Maverick as my next vehicle. The only reason I didn't was because my Mazda 3 is still doing great and I just don't need a new car. But there's a very real chance that this could have been in my driveway and I would have welcomed it, hopefully. I like the Maverick. I've always liked the Maverick, and I'm excited to see where it takes not only the brand for Ford, but consumers worldwide. It's a good package, and I like it quite a bit. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for letting me borrow the Maverick in today's video. They have been absolutely wonderful to work with. They always have cool and interesting vehicles in their inventory, so please go check them out. And of course, if you're looking for a new Subaru in Northern Illinois, Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg is the place to go. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.